Yes, sir.
Yeah, if the screen is visible, if I am audible, so we are good in a good state to start our class today. So the
Yes, sir.
previous day we have in the session 1 we have started with a bit of introduction with Java. You need to have Eclipse as an IDE. IDE is, you know, the full form, that's integrated development environment, where you can write your code, you can edit the code. It's a text editor, as well as you will have the context sensitive help, as well as you can compile, as well as you can run. You can do so many things, you can configure. So everything integrated in one development environment, which is IDE. So again, then we know how Java works. We have done something with variables in Java. We know how to work with variables. We knew the primitive data types in Java. And then we have also come into terms with naming convention in Java. Also, at the very end, we have learned about arithmetic operators in Java. Especially, we have learned about bitwise operation, right? And this bitwise operation will help you in the understanding the shift operations. I have not gone to that topic because that is not required at this stage. But mostly, you will say that a is a variable, less than, that is a shift operator, less than 2. That means a, whatever the integer value of, say a is an integer value, and 5, and you want to shift 2 positions, that can be done. That is the shift operator. There can be a left shift operator, there can be a right shift operator. So with a left shift, you are shifting the bit towards the left, so the value of 5 will become something else. Similarly, 2 means shifting 2 bit means 2 bit positions, okay, on the left. And there is something, you have the right shift. Right shift for some value is also that is going to happen, okay. Always remember, you always start from the right hand side, that is from the 0 position of 2 to the power of 0, from that position, and you go towards left. How many positions you can go left? 8 bits, because you are working on 1 byte. Anyway, so now let's start with this if else selection statements. I hope you didn't have any questions from the earlier session. If that is so, we can start the next session, which is we start with if else selection statements.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So let us see, you have done so many programs, and you have used a lot of times this if then else, or if else, else if, all these things. But here also Java is a programming language. After all, it has to have those structures, of course. We have these 3 structures in Java, which is one is if, one is switch, and one is ternary. So let's say, like the other day we say that there is a standalone application. If you want to execute main, we have to embed that within a class. So it's a standalone class, and there is a package. That package is by default. Okay, so this entire class and the entire Java, this thing is happening under the folder source. Okay, SRC, because we have not mentioned anything called package. Anyway, let's get into it. We have a class. We have declared a class, public class selection demo. Let's say this is the name of the class. You have given a bracket, and at the very end, you have a bracket, closing bracket. So within the entire body, you have this main function only. From this main function, as we have already known that this is the Brahma, and we can have it as the execution starting point. So the compiler will try to find out where is the main, which class is holding the main. So here, because we have only a single class, so now automatically compiler will go and find the main. So it will enter the main. Now, what is this? If true, I am printing hello. By default, if you say if true, that means if within brackets true, that means you are trying to force the control to come inside. So if you say false, there can be either true or false. this is the automatic state of any state of the condition, but by default it is always true. If you are not specifying any condition, it is just you are saying true, so it is always true. The truth always exists everywhere. So here also Java recognizes that if I just give without any condition just the boolean true, that means it is true, so it will print hello. If it is not, it will print by. We will see. Now we know that odd even check, very simple and the very basic fundamental of if else. You have an n equal to 0. You have another value called a. Now, why I am doing, I could have easily said n equal to 65. I have given because the other day you have learned that there is an implicit typecasting. So this char will be converted because n is an integer, so it will convert it to int. So what will the value of n is? It is 65. I could have directly said 65, but let's say we are doing that this way. If now n equal to 0, so if my number, that number is 0, then there is no point. There is no point of if it is true, then you print nothing and say by. Else if now if I'm not directly going to else because there is another state, another condition that you are checking. In that case, you say else if n percent, not percent, it is called integer division. You already know 2. That means this number, integer division of 2, if it gives an output of 0, the remainder is 0, then it is even, otherwise it is else it is odd. You know that. We come to a ternary operator. Any questions on this? It is very simple.
No, sir. No, sir.
You come to ternary operator. This is a very beautiful operator. It's an inline operator, you can say. That means you do not
I
have
never tried this.
Yeah, you can always use this if there is just a state of on and off. That means you can complete the if else condition within one single line. You can always use a ternary condition. These are very good operating conditions. The ternary operators are very well used. So let's say I have an age which is 50, and string is another type. This is another type of string. This is a object. This is a Java object. An object means that this job status becomes an object. Anyway, you know that it's a type. It's a class. It's a wrapper class. Now, job status. See, there is always a difference between single quote and double quotes. So what does this single quote hold?
One character.
And this is a string of character.
String, yes.
Even the space is a character. Whatever is within the double quotes will be a character string. Now this is a string array, you can say. Array of strings. We'll come to that later on. Now, job status. I'm saying that I have a string. I have a string called job status equal to, I could have done it here only. Okay. So I am saying within a single, the brackets, I'm saying age. I'm not using if, else, anything. I'm saying that ternary operator, I'm giving a condition here. If age greater than equal to 60, question mark, this is the operator, ternary operator. If this condition is true, then the first output is true. Whatever you say, whatever message you give it, it will be stored in job status. If it is not true, it will be, the working will be in the job status. Are you getting me? That means this is for true condition, this is for the false condition, for the conditions. Correct? So for a age which is 50, what will be the value of job status when this inline inline ternary operator is working. Correct. So the last one is the switch operator. I'm going through this in a fast way because you already know that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this fruit is a variable which is of type int, and it has a value of 4. Now char is supported, double not supported in your switch argument. Switch is sort of a function, switch function. Okay, where you pass on the value of a variable. Now that value can be always should be an int. Before 1.7 it was before 1.7 it was always you have to pass in an integer.
Yes.
But with 1.7 you can pass a string as well.
Achha.
Okay, but you cannot pass on 4.5. That is not so. Okay. Anyway, because this I have given a switch structure. This is a structure of a switch. So you say you are giving a value 4. You wanted to do something with that.
The result is by ...
Yes. Yes. So you are going through the case structure. The switch has cases. The case is the condition. Case 1, if fruit is equal to 1. Instead of using if, you are saying equal to, not equal to. Because equal to is an assignment statement. You see immediately there is a type mismatch. Cannot convert from int to boolean. So if you have to use it as a boolean, if either you are checking whether it's true or false. So equal to is the operator. This is called a relational operator. You already know that. Okay. Anyway, so here if case equal to 1, is it true? No. And you are saying that I am not going to print mango, but at the same time I am using a break. Break means it will come out. It is a one-time iteration. It is not an iterating loop. It is not an iterating loop. It is a one-time drill down. That means it comes from the top, it goes to the bottom. If it finds a default, if the value doesn't match, it comes out of the loop. Because every of the case statement will be followed by a break statement. Can you use a continue statement? No. Otherwise, you could have used in an if statement. You can use a break or a continue, but not with a switch statement. Okay, just remember this. This is not allowed. You either have to match the condition and break out, and this and that. So the entire loop will, or the entire case structure will be. So if it was 1, it will match mango. It will match this case 1. And therefore it will print mango and come out. It will not go to orange or to check these conditions. Suppose you had something like 100. So it doesn't match with 1, doesn't match with 2, doesn't match with 3, doesn't match with 4. So nothing is matched, but it has to go through everyone because it is having such a value, it cannot avoid. It doesn't match with any stage of the case. It goes to last of all, it goes to default. Default says that selection is not correct. No selection, or the selection is the selected item is not in the list. Okay. Because 100 doesn't match 1, 2, 3, 4. So you come to default. Default is one of the keyword. You say that since it doesn't matching, so it can go and print this particular no selection selected. Now, can you give a break after selection after default? You see the compiler does not complain. So though the compiler doesn't complain, but that is not necessary because it is the last statement. Last statement.
Yes.
Can you put the default somewhere between? Yes, you can do that. But then basically you are confusing the user. or whoever is going to use the program. You have to write a program in the simplest form. Do not try to confuse yourself or somebody else. If you try to give a break, I mean, if you want to give a default here, don't miss the break, because then otherwise it will also go to lychee and also go to buy. But if you give the default at the very end, you can omit this break, because after all, after default, there is no other statement to check, no other case to check. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Let me first of all give it a value called 4 or 1 or whatever. Let me give it 1. Okay. I'm saving it. I'm trying to run it.
Mango.
Okay. Once I run it, let me start from the beginning. See, as I said, it is true. It will go to hello, print hello. It prints a hello. And no confusion. If you had put in false, we will execute that afterwards. It will go to buy.
Right.
So always the default state of anything is, if there is no condition, it is always true. Now, even or check, you know that it is 65, because 65 value of A is
yes.
Yeah, because you have converted. So that is internally converted to an integer, the character A.
Sir, I guess the next line was not needed. Int n equals to a अगर मैं दूँ फिर भी काम करेगा.
Yeah, because it is not going to be A. I'm just showing you that if n equal to 0, we know that n is not equal to 0. Because
Yes.
n is having a value of 65 of ASCII value of A. Okay. So
Okay.
this will not go. It is going here. It is checking
Direct.
whether it's even. It is not even. Therefore, it is going to odd. It is saying it's an odd number. Yes, 65 is an odd number.
Yes.
Now you have used the ternary operator very well. If you say you have gone to 70, you will say retired. But
Retired.
Here now, because we had put in 50, 50 is working. That person is working. Now switch operator I have given 1. Yes, it is mango. Does it go to orange or this thing? No, because it finds a break. If I don't give a break, what will happen? Let's see.
It will check the next one also.
Okay. Let us go to execute this. Okay. You see, I have gone to false. Yes, by correct. So 65 is odd. Fine. I have not changed anything. And now my age is 70. So I am retired. Yes. My value was 1 because I didn't give a break. So it came to the next line. But the next line, it didn't match and it encountered the break. Fine. It went out. I mean, it is not having anything. It is not matching with anything. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, I say it is 100. Let's see. I have not taken out the break. Or let me take out the break from here. So it is very odd to find a default suddenly in the middle of all the case statements. Always by convention, try to put the default at the end.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You see now the question is, see, 100 doesn't match with 1. It doesn't have a break. So it doesn't matter. It went to orange. It is not matching with orange as well because it is not 2. Okay.
Yes.
So since it does not match, it will again go to somewhere else. It will go deep down. It will try to match all the cases. So
Yes.
it didn't match 1. It didn't match 2. It goes to default. Yes. Now default is something that means this value, even if it doesn't match, it can match default because that is what you intended to do. So no selection item is not in the list is printed. Now again, I didn't have a break. So therefore it will go to lychee. So a single case of 100 cannot have 2 values, 2 outputs, 2 outcomes. So this is wrong. So therefore you must give a break in every switch statement. Otherwise, there is some issue. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now you see, you will have only the one no selection item is not in the list because it finds default, doesn't match 1, 2, 3, or 4. It finds default and it comes out. Whenever it matches this one, it will come out. That's why always keep the default at the very end.
Okay, sir.
And if you are keeping it at the very end, you do not need to use the break. Fine.
Yes, sir.
So we have covered, I think, any questions?
No, sir.
It's clear.
Anyone having any question?
It's clear, sir.
Clear. I mean, these are very simple.
Yes, sir.
Now we come to the iteration statements like the while and the for. This one.
Yes, loop.
Loops. Basically, we say these are loops. These can be nested loops as well. Let's see. Now, again, we are in the package, default package. We are under SRC. So whatever the classes are formed, this iteration demo, you will see under what? This iteration demo is .java. Iteration demo.java. This is the main class, right?
Yes, sir.
Whichever class holds the main function in a core Java, always the file will be created with iteration demo.java. This is stored somewhere. Where it is stored? Did you mention any package? No package structure. That means you have not given any package. So what is Java going to do? The compiler going to do? Compiler will pick up this from the source and put it in the source itself.
Yes. Default
Let
package.
me see what I'm trying to say. Though we will understand packages more depth. Here we have Java AC training. Okay. This you see, I have given the project name as Devashish Java Core, but actually this is under Java AC training. This is the master. This is the root directory. Under the root directory, you have this source. You have this source. Can you see? Oh, can you see the screen?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
No. What I'm saying is, are you able to see this screen, the folder screen?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
sir.
Project manager. Yes.
Where project manager?
Sir, Devashish Java Core
I have
in
gone to see,
AC.
I have gone to D drive. Can you see that screen?
No, sir.
No, sir.
That is what I'm asking. Let me have a new share. New share. I will go to folder. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I sometimes forget about switching from one screen to the other. So you please remember me. Try to remind me. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Because in a whip, I just forget that I have to switch because you are not being able to see. So what I'm saying is, you are under Java SC training. This is the folder, root folder. And
Yes,
in
sir.
the root folder, you have some dot settings, bin. Can you see the directory? Bin,
Yes.
Yes, sir.
src, dot class path, project. This. So when I have created a project with some name, okay,
Yes,
but
sir.
that project lies under Java SC training folder.
Hmm.
Now I have given the project name Devashish Java Core. That is the project name. I will tell you how to create projects and all the stuff in ID, in Eclipse
Yes,
ID.
sir.
But right now I'm not doing that because I'm assuming that you already know that. Anyway, here you see there is a folder called source. I have not mentioned package. Now I am trying to I'm trying to work with an iteration demo file. Do you see the file here?
Yes, sir.
So this is a Java file. This is a .java file. If I open it, it will be opened in Notepad, and you see the one we were discussing, right?
Yes.
This is the text file. Can you see the screen?
No, sir.
Oh, you are not seeing the screen as well. Okay, one minute. So I have double clicked on the. Can you see the screen now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So again, see, this is when I have double clicked. I went to SRC folder. I searched a file called iteration demo. I got the file. I opened the file. That was you were not being able to see. So I just opened it with a new share, and you can see the screen now. So this is the Java program that you have written in the IDE, right? But
Yes,
that's a separate entity, .java. So it will be stored somewhere. That is what the package does. If I haven't mentioned any package, this is the default package. So I'm closing this. I am again trying to new share. Can you see this?
no, sir.
Can you see the screen?
Yes,
No,
sir.
sir.
No. Can you see the screen that it is saying SRC and
Yes,
iteration?
yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, because I have searched for that. So, but here what I'm trying to say is under SRC, you are having all the this is the default
Java files.
Java file. Where should be the classes? Because you are compiling it, right? And you are converting that to the bytecode class, dot class. You go here, you see that all the classes will be here. So if I am trying to find the iteration demo, yes, here. Can you see the class?
Yes.
But this is a binary, this is a bytecode. You will not understand. This is an executable file. So can I go back to my whatever we were learning?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So we go here and go to Eclipse. Yes. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, sir.
So that is what I have tried to make you understand, that I have not mentioned package. So the package is nothing but default package. Defaults. You see it's written as default package of which is under the SRC. Just now we have seen. And SRC is under the not Devasys Java Core. Devasys Java Core is just a project. It's a project under which but the Devasys Java Core is also stored somewhere, and that is stored under Java AC training. Okay. Yeah. Now, so this class will have a main as usual. I'm saying, first of all, let us learn about while. This while. Okay.
Initialization while within while
initialized
condition.
Yeah. So very simple. I have initialized
Then
I equal to 1. I am checking a condition while I've started the loop. While this condition is true. Now, is the condition true? Yes.
Yes.
So it go to hello, and then increment the value of I plus post increment. So I will be initially 1, and then it will be converting that to I plus plus. So what is the value of I now? 2. 2 is also less than 5 or not equal to 5. So it is correct. So that way it will be iterating for how many times?
5 times.
5
1,
times.
2, 3, 4, 5.
3, 4, 5. 5 because we have given an equal.
Yes, less than or equals to.
So hello will be printed with a number of I, that is 1 dot and a bracket hello, 2 dot bracket hello, 3 dot bracket hello, that way. Now do while. why do we sometimes use do while? Do while means you are forcing, first of all, whatever.
Because we have to, yes, we have to do something under the do
Yes,
statement, and
yes.
up to and why we give the condition while that we have to stop the work when it reaches the condition, it matches the condition.
Correct, correct. So what I'm doing by saying do while, first of all, I will force the compiler to compile the do block, whatever might be the condition. It doesn't irrespective. So at least one time it will go inside. After that, once it has executed that, it will check whether the condition of I less than equal to 5. Now, since I is 9, this condition is false. Will it again execute the do? Will it again go there?
Yes, sir.
Why?
No, sir.
It will not.
I
I
wait,
value is
sir.
9.
I equals to 9. I less than or equals to 5. If I is less than, oh yes, no, sir, no.
No.
Yes,
So even if I is 1, at least I'm ensuring that it doesn't, it goes to the loop at least once. It prints hello one time at least.
yes, sir.
But what will it print? I value?
9.
9. So it is suddenly printing 9 dot hello. But this is an example. That is what. But it will not print 10 dot hello or something like that.
Yes,
I
yes,
have
yes.
a I plus plus. But still, because 10 is not less than equal
Less
to.
than 5, yes.
So this condition fails, it will come out of the loop. Can you tell me why, when? I can always do this, right? This is the best and most popular one.
Yes.
Why do I sometimes use do while?
Like recently I've used do while for a code which is like I have two binary numbers and I have to cyclic shift those and need to reach the same number as the second one. First number need to reach the second number as the second number by cyclic shift, and I need to count how many cyclic shifts are there.
Okay.
So there I have to
That
use
is
do
the
while.
reason you wanted to force at least one time
Yes.
inside the while loop, because you have the cyclic first number
Yes.
that has a dependency on that. But yeah, that is one good example. But very popular example, like you have menu options. Don't you have?
Yes.
So many applications will have menu. You are
Yes.
offered menu. Like you have gone to a restaurant,
Yes.
you will be served a menu. Menu will have a list of all the things. So I also have presented you with a menu, and my intention is that at least once you enter the menu, because that menu will have an exit button, exit option. That means suppose
Yes.
you do not want to order anything, you are not liking it, but still you have to look at the menu at least once.
Yes, sir.
So you are forcing the user to go into the menu. Yes, you have an option. Let's say option number 9. If you type 9, you exit.
Yes.
Other rest of the 8 options are for, let's say, one is dessert, one is starter, two is main meal. Under
Yeah.
main meal, there can be you can have veg and non-veg. Under veg, you can have so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And once you type 9, you have selected. Yeah, you will have a non-veg menu, option 3. You have selected. Then only you will be offered with so many other things.
Yes, sir.
That is one example where you go inside a menu. You are forcing the user to go inside the menu. And whenever the choice is, let's say the choice is equal to not equal to 9. Sorry. Here, if you say that unless the choice is not equal to 9, because 9 is to exit,
Yes.
you will keep repeating the loop.
Yes.
But at least one time you ensure that you enter the loop. Then you have some choice. And if that choice is not equal to 9, you can do you can repeat
Yes,
the
sir.
fine. But once the choice
Yes,
it
sir.
finds 9, it will exit. It will come out of the loop. That is the issue.
Yes, sir.
Here also, if I say that I not equal to 9, now what will happen?
Uh, no, first time the
I
yes,
equal
yes,
to
yes,
9.
yes, yes. It will go to a infinite loop
Infinite loop. Why?
because first time it will print and then I plus plus is equals to 10 and
10.
never
So 10
never
is
back to
never
the 9.
10 is never 9. So it will again go inside.
Yes,
Okay? Because you have saying that I should not be. Once I reaches 9, then only you exit the loop.
yes,
But that condition, because it is false, it will again 10 will be 11, 11 will be 12. So it will keep on. There is no one is going to stop it. You have to you have to break out.
yes,
You have to use Control C to come out. So you have to be very particular what condition you are giving.
yes,
So I less than equal to 9. For now, here there is a just a for very simple syntax of a for loop. So
Hmm.
you know that I equal to 1, I less
Initialize condition
I
increment
don't
or
have to
decrement.
initialize it because I is already initialized.
Yes.
I was not initialized earlier.
Oh, okay, okay, yes,
Okay. Here you get a duplicate because you have initializing
yes, yes,
same variable twice. So duplicate
yes,
initialize.
because I is a global variable.
Yes, global variable. Here suppose yeah, I is a global variable because you have not. If you had initialized I over here,
Yes,
then when it comes out of the loop, then the scope of I is lost.
yes,
Then only this will work.
yes,
But
sir.
now since I have initialized it outside of any of the block, this is one block, this is one block. Okay, so I is already initialized. Therefore,
Yes,
I do not have to redo it. I
yes,
less than equal to 5 and I plus plus. This is the syntax of for. You know that.
yes, sir.
And in a very simple way, I am trying to print I 5 times with hello.
Yes,
Now there is a for each, but for each, which is an enhanced for loop, we will learn about that very carefully.
Hmm.
These are actually used when we are using arrays or you are using collections. Now
Yes, sir.
both of them are objects. You use this enhanced for loop when
Yes.
you are doing. But tell me, is it an object?
No, sir.
No,
It's a
because it is
variable.
of type int, which is a
Yes,
primitive type. So it is not
yes,
an object. But if it had been an integer with capital I, then it is a class, then it is a wrapper class,
yes,
then it will
yes.
be an object. Then I could have used enhanced for loop. This this is not a case of doing an enhanced for loop. We will come to know. Now, let us see quickly if we can understand this. It's very simple. You can class 878 students will do it. I'm just going through it. That is my okay. And you now have to do it. Can you just write
Yes,
it
sir.
down?
Yes, yes. I
And
can. I can do it.
yeah, there are 3 statements. There are this is for your assignment. Okay, before
Okay,
we
sir.
do this assignment, so shall I copy this in your chat box?
Yes, sir.
So somebody write, please write or copy and take this in the notepad. Just copy it. That means you have to generate this pattern.
Okay, sir.
you have to generate this pattern. The pattern is one is ignore the asterisk because that's just one for the comment. Actually, you have to print 1, then 1, 2 with a space. Of course, there is a space between, or you can give two double spaces. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there is how many rows will be there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And how many columns for each iteration? First iteration of one row is 1 column. Second iteration will be 2 columns. Third iteration will be 3 columns. Fourth iteration will be 4 columns. Fifth iteration will be. So do you understand that there is a nested loop?
Yes, sir.
So the outer loop is the row. Always remember the outer loop has to be rows.
Yes. The first row, first loop
row,
print
second
the
row, third
column.
row, yeah, fourth row and fifth row. So the outer loop, which is a row loop, has to continue. Oh, here I should have given 5. Okay, because if I had given 0, then it's fine. I could have said 4. You understand? From 0 to 4, it means how many elements or how many iterations? 5. 0, 1,
Yes.
2, 3, 4. So 5. You can do that.
It will print up square by square. It will print a square. This code.
Yeah. So this one was I was trying to print.
Okay. Yes.
4 stars in 4 rows. So it is, that's why I have given 4.
With some separated space.
With a space in between, yes. So actually I tried to print this. Everyone understanding?
Yes, sir.
It's very simple. Just I'm repeating because I'm in this chapter. And I've given some assignment. You can open your ID and do it today, anytime. It will not take more than say 15 minutes.
Yes, yes.
All this 5.
15 minutes is enough.
5. So another one, I want you to use starting from 65, 66, 67. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So don't use a character A because you cannot generate A, B, C, D. Let's say there was A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So will you keep on changing that the character? First time A, then the next time B. You do not do that. You just iterate through the number, the ASCII number, ASCII value of A 65. So start with 65 and end with 67.
Yes, sir.
If I had given A, B, C, D, another row and another row A, B, C, D, E, then you will end up with 69.
Yes, sir.
Right? So the lower limit and the upper limit. So you will have a nested loop, outer loop for the number of rows. How many rows are there here?
Rows are 1, 2,
3,
3,
sir.
3, 3. Has 3 rows.
3. And maximum how many columns?
3.
3.
So the outer loop should continue for 3 times. And for each of those these outer loop, I will have an inner loop ranging from 1 to 3.
3. Yes.
First time when J is 1, I will be 1. So I will be print.
Yes, I will print 1 time. Then when
Whenever
J is 2,
I will have I
two
repeat it
time.
from 1 and 2. For
Yes.
J, here I will
that is the logic.
J equal to 1. So everyone following, no?
Yes,
J equal to 1. What will be the value of I? Let's say I is the inner loop. I equal to
0.
0 or 1.
I equals to 0. Yes.
To avoid confusion, I will say I equal to 1. So actually A is coordinate. The coordinate of A is 1, 1. Right?
Yes.
Now here it will be your j equal to, again it will be initialized to
1,
and I will
I
be
1,
1, comma 2. So first time when it is 1, A will be 1, comma
1,
1.
comma 1, and B will be 1, comma 2.
B will be what?
1, comma 2.
1, comma 2. Because when the value of I reaches 2, you will come out of this loop, and you will
Yes.
also say that I have to increment the value of j. So it will repeat the outer loop, again come to the inner loop. So it's a nice way.
Yes,
Now
sir.
here, when j, and this happens when
Hello.
j equal to,
Sorry, here I have to j is on 2. Yes.
yeah, I is 1 and 2, and j will be first of all 1, and j last it will be 2. Similarly, for j ranging from 1 to 3, okay? No. So what is
Yes.
j? J here, j will be repeated here because it is the controlling loop j. Controlling loop,
Yes, sir.
each of j value 1, 2, and 3, I will keep changing. I will be 1, 2.
Yes, yes.
I will be
So the
This is wrong, sir.
A is 2,
This is
2,
2,
comma
1,
1,
sir.
2, comma 1, and 2,
so
comma 2.
A again it will be 1, comma 1 when j
Sorry,
value.
No,
sorry,
sir.
sir. 3,
3,
comma 1.
Sorry. Here you have to remind me 2, and here it will be 3.
2, 2.
B also will be 2, comma 2. Right?
Yes, sir.
Because
Yes,
this is the
right, sir.
second row. This is the first row, second row, third row.
Yes.
So j is 3, j is 2, j is 1. So each value of j, I will be repeated. First time it is 1, second time it is 2, third time it will be repeated 3 times. So 3, comma 1, B will be 3, comma 2, and C. There's a new element C, which is 3, comma 3. That's all.
That's it. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now here there is some same thing. You have how many rows? 1, 2, 3, 4. And how many
Yes.
columns? It's a square dollar. Okay.
We need a if statement there.
Dollar
Just
with a space, with 2 spaces or 1 space, whatever you do. Now there are, for each of these rows, there are how many columns? 4 columns. But
yes.
first column will have all the $4 printed. Second row will have only 2 columns printed, the first column and the fourth column. Similarly, for the third row, $2 first and the fourth, and the last row will have this.
Yes, sir. It's easy.
So it is possible. Just
Yes.
you have to control through the rows the number of columns.
Yes.
I think it is very clear to you.
Yes, sir.
Can you see the output?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So first of all, let us go here. We say just simple while. There is no condition. The condition is along with the while. Fine. So first time there is no doubt it will be 1 dot bracket hello, 2 dot 3 dot 4 dot 5 dot. So this is one thing. Up to this is done. So we come to do while. Now
Yes.
I have forced it with a value of 9. So it will print 9 dot hello. It has printed. But it has not printed hello again. Here, this is from this loop, not from the do while. So do while it has exit because this condition is false because I has become 10. Now, similarly, this is very simple. It will print 5 hellos. And then it is printing these 2 spaces. I have given 2 spaces, I think. Yeah, 2 space, 1, 2.
Yes.
So, but I am printing this star in the inner loop. And the inner loop is controlled by the outer loop.
Yes.
So in the first row, I am printing 4 columns, 4 stars. Come to the second row. So second row means J value is 2, but the I value starts from 1. It is repeated.
Yes.
That is the reason I am printing. Fine. Can we move on?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So we have come to this. Nested loops you have understood. And I have given you that assignment. Okay. Break and continue.
Yes, sir.
So break and continue, you already know that. It's very simple.
Yes.
I have a class. Sometimes some developers always prefer giving curly braces for the block from the very first column.
Yes.
Somebody would like to use it at the side of the class or whatever. So it might be confusing for someone. So better if you can develop a practice of giving a bracket just below each other, but starting from column 1. Here I could have given a bracket here for the for loop, but it's better practice to use just where the for starts, first column. So see, by seeing the program, you know that this is the bracket for. This is the ending bracket for.
Yes.
It is a better practice. Say if is a block. Okay. So now I have given if just below the I. It is a better practice. Otherwise, I could have, many people will give like this. Fine. That is also fine. There is no harm. Now, I say that there is a class and within that class, there is a function main. I continue. Sorry, not continue. Now, I have a for loop, a single for loop, no nested loop. And
Yes.
within that loop continues for I 1 to 10. So 10
Yes.
times this loop repeats. Now, whenever the I value reaches 7, what I'm trying to see is if I equal to 7, or if anything is correct, like if this is true or this is true, for any of these two condition, it will be true. So it will come out of the loop. Break.
Yes.
And break comes takes the control where? After this if. Because it is a break of the if, not of the for. So it will
Yes.
come and print the value. And the
Yes,
loop will continue as it is because I have not given break anywhere here.
Yes, sir.
So I'm not breaking out from the for loop. I'm saying that whenever the value of I reaches 7 or 8, I will not print the value.
Yes.
I will just break out. Let's see. What is
Yes,
happening
sir.
here? What is happening here?
Because 1 to 6, while 1 to 6 was printed, then there is no problem. But
No
when
problem.
it reaches the 7, it breaks the loop.
It matches this condition.
Yes, then breaks.
So break. It doesn't need to go to 8 because it has come out
Yes.
of this. And it's a break. Here I say continue. That means what will be the output now?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, 1 to 10. 1 to 10 will print.
1 to 10. Are you sure? Will it print 1 to 10?
Hello, skip the
Actually,
7 and 8. Hello,
Huh?
skip the 7 and 8, sir.
7 and 8. Rajnitikya?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Any response from other team members?
Actually, I never use continuous statement.
Like Aishwarya, Shishandu is already responded. Arnab, Rashikar, you are not speaking at all.
Sir, I think it whatever Rajnitika says, that is true.
Okay, very good. And Rashikar? Rashikar, are you there?
Hello, sir.
Rashekar, your opinion of what should be the output if I give a continue instead of break?
Then it will print all the values.
All the values, like from 1 to 10, right? As
1 to 10.
you told. And what about Aishwarya?
It will continue, sir.
It will continue, but what will be the output? Let's say I have a println, right? It will print the values. Will it print the values of 7 and 8?
No, sir. It will print between 1 to 7.
It will print 1 to 7 or 1 to 10 without 7 and 8?
Without it. Not sure. Because,
Not very sure. Not very sure. Okay.
up
You
to
can
7.
always try that. Let's try that.
Okay. Okay. It's ignoring 7 and 8.
Not printing 7 and 8. 7 or 8. 7 and 8. Yeah. So whenever I'm having a value of I equal to 7, what is happening? It encounters this continue. It doesn't go here. It says to for that please continue your loop. Don't try to print this statement.
Okay. This is the
Like with
fundamental of
break,
continuity.
whenever it encounters the value of 7, it will break out of the entire loop. It says to for that, see, I have had enough. I would like to quit. So I'm breaking out. I don't want to continue.
Yes.
But continue says, please continue. But for these two values, 7 and 8, when I becomes 8 or 7, I don't want to print this because it will go here. It will ask the for to continue. That's why it is printing 5, 6 and 7, 8. It has skipped. It has continued. It has skipped. Better to say skip. 9, 10. Correct? So this simple way.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, if I say break and continue,
Compile time errors.
compile time error. You cannot have
No.
break
Both
and
at 10.
continue.
Sir,
Though break, what will happen? Break will directly break out of this. But this is not a coding practice.
After break statement and no comment will work. If I print their system.out println, then also it will not work.
First of all, I will not be able to execute it because the compiler will give a compiler error.
Yes.
See, this is called an unreachable code. You are trying to break the code, the break out of the loop, but at the same time, you're trying to continue. So these are contradicting. You cannot do something because the code, the validator or the code verifier will try to prevent you. Like that day I told you about Sonar Cube.
Yes.
In the DevOps pipeline, when you put your code, there will be the first person who will encounter your code to check the validity of the code. I mean, whether the code has been written in the correct way. Even if the code is producing the right output, doesn't matter. But the code checker will check the code for its rightful use of the syntax of the way it should be written. You cannot give a variable name in capital letters. You cannot give a constant name with small letters. All these things it will check, even if the output is the correct one.
Yes.
And whenever it encounters this one that you have given, try to break and then continue as well, it is a wrong logical sequence. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So we can continue the next topic. Classes and objects. Now we start to understand a bit of Java, object-oriented programming. Can we start?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Here. We are going to cover a topic as object, class, constructor. Constructor we will cover default and parameterized. Then we will cover constructor overloading. And then we will have local and instance variable. And of course, a very beautiful word called this, a keyword called this. You already know all this, maybe, but take it as a revision. Now, if anyone can tell me what is a class?
Yes, sir.
Try. Maybe you might not have.
Of the object.
Class is what?
Sir, class is a blueprint of any type of real time entity, sir.
Very good. Very good. Class is a blueprint. That is the word. That is the word. Class is the blueprint. Can you give me a real life example of what a class,
Just
like whatever you see in the world?
just like
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Animals, yeah, vehicles, a man, any specific. That's it, sir.
Huh, right. But let me give an example. That will be actually make you very clear about what is the difference between a class and an object. Like you are an engineer. Okay. You are a civil engineer. You have got a tender. You are working for a client, and the client has told you to start the construction. Start the construction of a building, of a very big complex. Okay. The civil engineer goes to the field and start putting or digging the hole and putting in the bricks and laying the foundation. Can he do that? No way. He will work with a team of engineers and contractors and your architect, everyone. They will first, the engineer cannot start off the construction by laying the foundation from the starting day. He has to produce a blueprint, a design. Like,
Yes.
otherwise, what will happen is the first floor can be bigger than the second floor. That means there is no symmetry. The first floor can have 4 rooms, 4 flats, and second floor will have 2 flats. And the parking will be underground. It was supposed to be underground parking, but the parking has now been constructed because they have forgotten to start the parking in the underground. They have started the parking in the topmost floor. But this is what the client didn't ask. Client said that I want a construction of a big complex, and it will be normal design. So the engineer has wasted a lot of manpower, lot of time, lot of materials, and lot of cost has been involved. But ultimately, the client comes and says, no, I never asked you to do like this. Who has given you the permission? There is no approval. There is no design that you approved from me. So I will not approve. Please demolish the entire building and do it from the beginning. I want to see your design. Okay.
Yes.
Without a design, what is an engineer? How did you pass engineering? You are designing, you are constructing straight away without a design. So you have to have a blueprint. Whenever the blueprint is complete, and the blueprint will have the properties or the things that you need, the materials, the things that you need, and the methods, that means whether the function of a parking lot is to park your car. A person cannot come and say that I will sleep in this parking lot. So that is not the function. So each of those design document, that class, which is a blueprint, will have specification for all the properties. That is the data that you need to construct the building, like the cement, number of cements, number of bags of cements, number of bricks, the number of trucks of sand, so many things. So these are the data that you need. And what is the manpower and how many engineers you will require.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, can you hear me and see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, there is a load shedding at my place because I'm using a Geo Fiber fixed broadband. So therefore, it depends on the power. I have now just now connected with my portable, I mean that hotspot. Okay, so
Okay.
I will continue. Uh, uh, are you okay with my voice? I mean the audio and the video.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir. It's
Okay,
perfect.
okay. Thank you. So now you see where we were. We were saying of the blueprint. So this entire calculator. Let's say we have a class called calculator, and now once the blueprint is approved by the design or the design is approved by the client, then only you will start to create the building or the complex. And unless you do that, your thing cannot start. Your construction cannot start. So that construction of the building, that building is an object. That object is coming out from the blueprint of, say, the class. You're getting me? So the relation between the class and the object is, without a class, there is no existence of the object. So you are creating an object out of the class, which is an approved blueprint of that object. So that object will internally, implicitly inherit all these are called properties or attributes or the data, simply data you can say. These are called attributes, properties, or the data, simple data. Okay. And the other one, these are, sorry, this one, okay. Anyway, let me, for the time being, it is called a method. Method means function. So a class design will have attributes or properties or data along with the method, nothing else. Nothing else. So class cannot have anything else. It is just a combination of the data that data you are including into this class. So you are sort of embedding, you are hiding the implementation of this class of this data within the class. And you are exposing those data through an object that you create out of that class. Okay, let's say, so here you understood na, what is a class and what is an object. Now
Yes,
we
sir.
see there is one important thing with a I cannot have an object created without a constructor. So constructor is a method within a class. Sometimes it is called default constructor, or sometimes it is called parameterized. Sometimes you might not give a constructor at all, but compiler is very intelligent. It knows that if there is a class, there is a default constructor. Maybe it's empty. So, and what is how will you understand whether it's a constructor or a ordinary method or normal method? Because both are methods. Both are
Yes.
methods. How will you differentiate?
Sir,
Always remember,
the
yes,
constructor name with the same of the class name.
exactly, or no? See, whenever there is a load shedding, these guys will start shouting a lot. So you can hear that the vendor vending all those vegetables and all those. So my room is just beside the street. So you are getting a bit disturbance out of this noise.
No
Please bear
problem,
with
sir.
that.
No
Yeah.
problem.
Okay. Anyway, what is happening here is this. I will say this is not an ordinary method. This is the constructor.
Yes.
Without a class, without a constructor, cannot create an object.
Yes.
Okay. But a constructor, if it's a default constructor, and I have not mentioned any constructor, I have mentioned various other methods in the class. Can I do that?
I didn't get your
Suppose
point,
I
sir.
have a
Yes.
constructor called calculator. I
Yes.
did not mention any constructor.
Yes. It will automatically create it, no?
Yes, because the class, even if you miss to or you do not mention a constructor, a class has a default constructor of its own. The compiler knows. It will search for your constructor, but if it finds in the calculator, if it finds in the class that you have not mentioned or defined any constructor, then it will use the default constructor, which is an empty constructor. But
Yes.
that empty constructor is very well sufficient to create an object out of that class.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, in this particular case of a class, I have a calculator constructor. I have another calculator constructor. I have,
Yes.
so there are two calculator constructors. My class is calculator. My constructor is also calculator. My other constructor is also calculator. Can I have
Yes.
more than one constructor? Yes, I can.
Yes.
I can.
Constructor overloading.
This is called constructor overloading. This is the default constructor. No need to create. Every time an object is created, it will call the default constructor to allocate memory to the object. Why we have a constructor concept? Because nowadays, now with Java has made a provision that you do not need to use pointers. You do not have to take care of the memory. You just say what is the class that you are going to create or you have designed. I will create the object out of that, because I will create the allocated memory for that object to be tangible. That means it will actually happen inside the memory. Till it is a class and you have not created an object, this class is just in the class where it is Is it in the heap memory or the class loader memory?
Not
Suppose,
in it's memory, I guess.
suppose you have not created a object called calc.
Yes.
Okay, I have not yet gone to that chapter, but yes, I will show you that what is how you are creating an object. But let's say an object has not yet been created. Only you have
Yes.
designed or defined the class. Where is that when the compiler or the interpreter and the JITC, just in time compiler, works on this particular class, it doesn't find that it has created any object. So it will load the class. Where will the class be loaded? It has to be loaded into some memory, because
Yes.
everything that goes into the memory is ready to be
Class
executed
loader.
in the class
Class
loader.
loader.
Very good. In the class loader memory. Very good. Very good. These are the questions that you might be asked. It has not yet gone into the heap memory. This num1, num2 result, these are data, but this data will reside in the class loader memory till the object is created. Once the object has been instantiated through what? Through the constructor.
Constructor.
Through the constructor, new constructor, I will not create this object. Till that time, the entire class will decide with its methods, with its attributes, everything with the data, everything will be there in the class loader memory. The point when this particular object is created, it will go into the heap memory. Now the heap memory is your main memory.
Yes.
That heap memory, I was saying that this is the premium. This is very costly resource for any system. So you have to know how to handle it. Do not waste the memory. That heap memory, because so many in production, see, in production, however huge the server is, in production, there are hundreds of programs running. So, and your along with your program. So your program will fight for the memory. I can bet on that. Your program will fight for the memory that has been there for your share. So unless you optimize the memory utilization, you will find your program running slow. That's why sometimes you do not use int, you use short, or sometimes you would byte, or sometimes you use char. So depends on how you best you utilize the memory, your program will run faster. But my question is not like that. My issue is that whenever I have nothing in the heap memory, that means my object has not been created. But once the object has been created, everything shifts, like num1, num2 result, calculator with the parameterized calculator, perform, everything will go into heap memory.
Yes, sir.
Because this method, perform is a method. It will also occupy it has to be loaded, because you do not know your program is going to call this function. So it cannot call a function which is lying in the class loader memory. It has to call anything. Your data can be used only when it is available in the heap memory. That is it. You get it, na?
Yes, sir.
Now, I have two constructors. This is called a default constructor, because this is how, if you do not mention any constructor in your class, this is how, so your, what will happen? This is the structure of the constructor. That means this is an empty constructor. If suppose you have not mentioned, by default, the compiler will create a constructor like this without anything, without any methods, without any attributes. So it's called a default empty constructor. But that is very important to create an object like calc. So don't worry, if you have not given any constructor, you will be provided with one. Okay. But here I want to use a default calculator because I want to initialize something with this is called the instance variables. You see the color of these ones are what?
Blue.
See the colors?
Yes, sir.
Yes, there are two colors. One is blue. Can you see blue color? I don't know
Yes.
whether you're able to see it clearly.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, now you can see. You see, this is num1, num2, and the result. All these are called instance variables.
Yes.
Instance or the global variables of a class. Don't say global variables. It is the class variables. So it's a class instance variables.
Okay.
Okay. These are called blue. This blue, whenever you are using a good standard editors like Eclipse IDE, you will see that these are all colored in blue to indicate that these are instance variables of this class calculator. Now, I want to change something of these instance variables within the constructor, empty, not empty constructor, but no parameter constructor. I will like to change the value of num1 to 5, num2 to 6, and then say that I'm in constructor. Okay, this is what simple thing I have done. That's why I have not left it empty.
Yes.
Another constructor I have, same name as calculator with a capital C, but I am passing
Argument int num1. Num1
yes,
as an argument.
num1 has an argument. Num1 has an argument of type int. Fine.
Yes.
But can you see the difference of color?
Yes, sir.
Is it blue or something else?
Something else, sir.
Brown.
This one, brown.
Yes.
Yes, correct. It is brown. That indicates that it is a formal parameter. It is not an instance variable. That means it has been passed from outside. It has been passed from somewhere else. But this calculator constructor is getting this num1 not as an instance variable. It has been given. That's why I have intentionally made the num1 and num1 the same name to differentiate what is an instance variable and what is a local variable. Now this one is a local variable.
Yes. It will
Okay.
just work in this constructor only.
Yes. I will what my function does, the constructor does, whenever I would like to have that local variable initialized to the instance variable. And to do this, I will say, because they are of the same name, though, because for you it is blue and brown, but for compiler doesn't know what is blue
Yes.
and brown. You, for your convenience, you know. So always better to say, always differentiate yourself. I have done a mistake here. Not mistake. This is not a standard programming practice. What you say, you need to have this. Then it is correct. Then your Sonar Cube will not report problems with your code. But if you leave this, though, you already know, because num1 is not similar to num2. So num2, where it is getting, it is from the instance variable. So fine, you do not need to mention this. It is still a instance variable. Are you getting me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It is definitely, it is logically, it is num2 because num1 is not matching. But here to differentiate, you have to. If you don't give, compiler does not complain, but you will change. You will see one thing. You will see one thing. What has happened now?
The num1 which is on the left side of the equals, it also a local variable.
Yes.
It's
What
not
is
a
the
good
local
It
variable?
doesn't have
practice.
any meaning because both are brown.
Yes.
Both
Yes.
are brown and both are just
Same
and
same
not
name.
used as variables. So my purpose is not fulfilled. I have to
Yes.
actually change the value of the instance variable, not the local
Yes.
variable, because this local variable I'm getting from somewhere else. I will tell you where. So what is the purpose? The purpose is to, I have supplied this value because
Please
I wanted to
change the
change this.
original value of number one.
Yeah. So try to understand this. If you have understood, it is quite
Yes,
okay.
sir.
But here also, I do not need to mention this, but it is always a good practice, good programming practice to do this. Tomorrow, my program can have two parameters. Two parameters passed into calculator constructor. It can happen. See, specifications, requirements keep on changing.
Yes, sir.
So at that time, you do not have to take care. There can see, I am using two variables, but there can be hundreds of variables. Those things are
Yes.
quite when you are writing real time in a real project, you will have lots of variables. So how to debug which one you have left for something? So better in future to avoid this confusion, this bug. Then you see, if you didn't have given this, what was happening? This will turn into a local variable.
Yes.
So you are putting one local variable. So you have passed 90 and here 100. So you are putting 100, 90 into 100. There is no
Yes.
meaning. There is no meaning.
Yes, sir.
So always try to be futuristic. Try to follow the good practice. Always. Now it is fine. That, or maybe you are giving num2. Okay.
Yes, sir.
But let us go back to the original discussion. There was one parameter, and here you are putting the value of local variable num1, or this is called a formal parameter, because this parameter is not generated, or this parameter is you are getting it from somewhere else. So it's a formal parameter. Just remember the terms, because see, you are a programmer, but tomorrow you are going to be a designer, and tomorrow, day after tomorrow, you are going to become an architect. So you will be promoted, no? You will be growing in your career. So if you are aware from the very beginning the correct terms, it will help you in your further career progress.
Yes, sir.
You can also be such a good programmer that you will be selected by your company to train the project team on a particular technology. Then if you do not use those terms, then the fellow programmers will say, sir, I mean, whatever you will be called by your name, you are not using, I mean, we already know that. So if you cannot differentiate something from what the others know, it is better to know the correct terms correctly. So this is clear. In the second constructor with num1, num2 value, and you are printing the num1, num2 value. Fine. This is actually the variable. This is the variable.
Yes.
Okay. You wanted to print, suppose, see, this is the brown color, this is the blue color.
Yes.
Because num1 by default, it will always try to use the local variable unless you specify with this.
Sir, but yeah, here there is no problem in this print statement. There is no problem if I print num1, because we are putting the num1 into num1, no?
Yeah. I'm saying. But since initially you have initialized with 1, let's say this is a version number.
Yes.
Version number. Now the version number is changing because you have got some other version number. You need to print. You need to change this. The version number was
Yes.
1.1.
No, but it changed. No problem. It has already changed. But if I print num1,
Also,
the
there is not a
local
problem.
variable,
There is
there's
not a
no
problem.
problem. Yes.
Yeah, that is not a problem. Okay, because now see, your formal parameter can be any name. You can give Devashish also. Now there is a problem. If you say now here we say Devashish and here we say Devashish. Okay. And that is fine. I can do that.
Yes.
No issues. Compiler doesn't complain. But here if I say num1, here you are printing the instance variable because Devashish is not the num1.
Yes.
Therefore, you see that this is color is blue. Okay. But if you wanted to print Devashish, then what you
No
have
problem.
to do?
No
Just
problem.
mention
Num1 and Devashish are same.
are the same.
No.
So that's what I'm saying. That to differentiate it here, in that case, I wouldn't have given this because it is already different.
Yes.
But it's not a good practice. Always use this. Even if you know that this is an instance variable, press this, type this, and type this. Always try to be in the good example. Try to be good to your program. And here I change it to num1 just for the sake of reference. And num1. Okay. Now I have, is this a constructor?
No, sir.
Okay. Now these two are constructors. So this is called a default constructor and this is called a parameterized constructor. Parameter, because you are passing a parameter in the argument.
Yes.
This is called a constructor, but a parameterized constructor. Yes. And because you have both the constructors, tell me which during the creation of the object, which one will be called for, whether you are calling the default constructor or the parameterized constructor.
The parameterized constructor.
By default.
No. By default, the default constructor.
Yes. By default, it is always this one.
Yes.
So by default means if I do not give any argument. But once you say you have a constructor, this is a constructor overloading. This will be overloaded by this. So you will take a precedence. This overloaded constructor will be taking precedence if you say a value like you are passing some parameter. Then this will not go and execute this. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, so this calculator has three properties or attributes: num1, num2, result. Two constructors, one the default constructor and the parameterized constructor, and one the perform method. It's a normal method, which will give a result of num1 plus num2. All of three are instance variables.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let us come to here. We have a class object. Now I'm saying public. I can only mention public with one of the one of the classes. I have not mentioned public. I cannot do that. If I try to do public, what will happen?
It will show error.
Error. Why? The public type calculator must be defined in its own file. What is a file? Like I am writing a code. This is a class. This is within the class there is this thing. This is also a class. Within that there is a main method and all those things. But when you see the file name, what file name you are going to get?
The public object demo.
Yes. By saying that this is public, because why? Because this is the main class where your main method is there.
Yes, sir.
So this is the file. Where is this file stored? So what is the file name? What is the file name?
Object demo.
object demo dot Java.
.java, yes, obviously the
Yes,
extension
of
is
course.
.java.
So object demo dot Java, it is lying under SRC. Why? Because it doesn't have any package. By default, the package is default package.
Yes.
Default package. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So I'm just repeating again and again because such that it is ingrained in your brain. You never forget. Even by mistake also you do not. It's like a practice. Practice makes you perfect. So by listening to the correct things, you will also understand the correct things and implement the correct things.
Yes, sir.
So object demo.java is the main file, and that main file can only have one public class. That means this entire file, this is an entire file. This entire block of code is residing in one file, one Java file, and that Java file is called object demo. Because many Java programmers I have seen, they do not understand this basic funda, and then they end up giving a public somewhere. They wanted to make it public, but then they have a compiler error. Then they come to someone else to, sir, please help me. I'm not being able to compile it. Okay, because they don't have this understanding that if you in a file and in a package or in a folder, you can have only one file name. You cannot have two files of the same name. So you cannot have a file with calculator.java and another with object.demo.java in the same file.
Same program.
So do you see anywhere you have this calculator.java? Can you
No,
see
sir.
anywhere
No,
in the
no, no.
calculator.java?
No.
No, you cannot, because that is not a file. This one is the file with the main. But that does not mean that this will not be a part of that file. The file will consist the entire code. Entire code. When you open it with Notepad and everything, you will see that everything will be done. Everything is there in that file, object demo.java. Anyway, we come here. So remember, we cannot have any other public. And where are the classes residing? Like this also has an existence. This is a class. This is a class. But this is a Java and as well as a class. This is only a class, but they must be residing somewhere.
I didn't get your point, sir. Can you please?
My question is, this will be converted to a dot class, right?
Yes.
Calculator dot class.
Yes.
This will be dot Java plus you have compiled it. There will be object demo. Even the capital, small, everything will be matching. Dot class. There are two classes because you have two classes here. One the calculator dot class and the other one is object demo dot class. And there is one file called object demo dot Java. Now you already know that since your package is default package, you are keeping all these Java files under SRC.
Yes.
But where are you keeping the class files?
Bean folder, sir.
Bean, very good. Who said?
Rajniti.
Rajniti. Okay, very good. So always remember, there is a place for where you are storing the source file. Source file, like Java is the source file. So you are storing there because you are using default package. You are storing under SRC. But for the classes, see, you cannot mention .java here. You just have to mention Java. So the classes will be stored under Bean. Yes. Correct. Now let's come to the main file, object demo, which is also a class. And you say within the main. Now you say calculator and calc equal to new calculator 56. What is this calculator?
It's the constructor.
No,
It's the class.
it is the class.
Class.
So object will this is an object,
Yes.
like the variable. You say integer, though it's a wrapper class. You say j equal to some value. So what is j? J is an object of type
Object.
integer.
Integer.
So I mean, similarly, we say calc is an object of type calculator.
Calculator.
You do not say class.
Yes, sir.
You say calc is an object of type calculator, and that type is nothing but a class.
Yes, sir.
Like that day we have discussed about number. Number is an oh, you have not been discussed. Okay, we will discuss that afterwards. Like whatever, for the time being, you say this is a class. And what is this? This is also a class. But when you say with reference to an object, you say that object is of type calculator. Like I can say the J is an object of type integer.
Yes, sir.
Because J will have now the object properties and functions. You see, it has opened. But if I say, if I say int, which is a primitive equal to 0. Now, what does that mean? Will I say I an object?
No, sir.
No, because this is not a type of object. It is just a primitive type. Primitive type is not encapsulated with an integer. It is not wrapped up with a wrapper class called integer. So otherwise it is a primitive type. So I will say I is a variable, is not an object of type int.
Sir.
But here I will say J is an object of type integer. Calc is an object of type calculator, which is a class. Any confusion?
No, sir.
Now, I have to create this class. My thing is not yet over. I will not say I will not have any compilation error by doing this. I can do that. I just said what I did. I just said int j or integer j, which is a class, and can I do that? Will the compiler complain? I can do that. I have not assigned any value. Fine, I can do that. I just initialize the object of type integer. I can do that. The same thing I have done here as well. Compiler is not complaining, but here it is complaining. What is the complaint? That the local variable calc may not have been initialized. So it is considering as a local variable.
Yes.
But my purpose was not to make calc a local variable. My purpose was to make calc an object. Object has many advantages over a variable. That's why we have to create this. Now see immediately this all errors have gone.
Yes, sir.
Why? Because now the object calc has been created. Any questions?
No, sir.
No.
It's like the
Simple.
scanner plus scanner is equals to no.
But what is this calculator? This is a class constructor.
Yes.
This is the class. This is the constructor.
Yes.
Even if I didn't have any parameterized constructor or default constructor, let's say, can I do this? I took it away from the program, right? I can do that. Yes. I will not have any constructor declared or defined in a class called calculator. Can I do that? Yes, I can do that.
Yes, sir.
Compiler is not. I only have 3 attributes like data, num1, num2 result, and 1 method perform.
Yes.
I can do that.
Yes.
Now,
But we need to delete the
I cannot
argument
use a parameter because that is not the norm.
because we
By
did not create a parameterized
default, the compiler gives the calculator constructor with an empty parameter and empty body. So this is an
Yes.
empty constructor, but still it will create an object called calc, and
Yes.
still I can use this instance variable num1, num2, and I can perform. I can use that function perform, the method perform, because it is a property, or it is a property of that object calc. But if I couldn't have created this calc, this will be an ordinary variable. So that will be wrong. I cannot have any ordinary variable having another pointer to a num. So this is basically a pointer. This object is pointing to a function called perform. And yes, I see that calculator object has a method perform inbuilt. Okay. So that is what I am trying to elaborate, that the compiler has given it's an empty default constructor called calculator and created the class, object. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Now I have again used this, and I want to not call the default constructor. Okay, let's see. First, we will start with this. An empty calculator, without any parameter. That is called the default calculator. So which one will be called? I am calling the constructor this. I am using this activity. I am not calling this one at all, because I have used an empty argument, no arguments, no parameters passed. So I'm not calling a parameterized constructor here. Okay, so I am doing this. What I'm storing under num1, I have stored 5 and num2 6. But then after I have created this object, I am storing into that instant variable of num 10. So 5 will be changed to
10.
5 will be changed to 10. This one.
And 6 will be changed to
num2. What is num2? Num2 is 6. 6 will be changed to
60.
20.
20. 60.
Changed to 20. Simple, very simple. I'm just giving some simple examples so that you do not have any confusion further, because gradually these things will get a bit tougher. So if your concepts don't get clear at this stage, it will be difficult to follow. Now you are saying that object, yes, object, yeah, okay. You are wondering how I'm getting. Suppose I do not remember the name of the method. I say dot. Once you say dot, you see num1, num2, result. These are the instance variable of the calculators. You see the calculator type, right? Also, you will see perform a method. But would you see any calculator constructor? No. Calculator constructor is the inherent method within the class. So whether you mention it or you have a parameterized, you can change, overload, whatever you do. But this is not going to be a property of an object. The property of an object is whatever you have declared and defined. Like you have declared num1, num2, result, and also you have declared and defined perform a method. So you are keeping you are picking up from that. So no confusion.
No fish.
This is the advantage of using a very good IDE, because if you use a notepad or a notepad plus or some other text editors, you have pressed calc and dot, You will not get all this context sensitive help. These are called context. Context is the object that you have created, and with that you are getting the help of all the methods of that object, methods and data of that object, right? So always advisable that you use a standard, very good, like Eclipse is a very good, very standard, and it's very popularly used. I hope you have already installed ID
Yes, sir.
and Java 1.8 at least.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah, good. And now last thing is that your result of addition function calc. Let us run this. Okay. So first of all, I have done this. I have created the object. I have initialized the value of num1, num2 with some value. But first of all, I will go to perform. Let's see perform. So perform is returning a result of num1 plus num2 in a form of result. Okay. And where is this in constructor coming from? I have not given any message in the perform. Did I give in constructor in perform?
No.
Where it is coming from?
You write the default in the first part.
In the top.
Yes. The default constructor. That is to show that I have changed. I have used a default constructor without any parameter.
Yes.
And that default constructor is this without any parameter. I have gone here. I have changed the num1 to 5 and num2 to 6. And then I have printed a value called in constructor. That is why it is printing this.
Yes,
And then now coming to the perform will give a result. It is saying void, so it is not returning, but it is being held in this calc object. It is there. So what is it printing? Result of addition function equal to calc dot result. So result of addition function equal to 30. It is not 11.
Yes.
Like we have done 5 and 6, it has gone to this, but this has again changed here. So it is giving 10 plus 20, 30. But it is a property of this object. That result is a property of the object because here it is the class, the type, and perform is within the calculator, and result is therefore also as an instance variable. So I can always access globally this instance variable. Suppose I have not have this instance variable, but I have given it here. Immediately you will see that this thing has changed. The value has changed from blue to brown, because now this is a property of this perform function. Let me see. Yes. Now can you see there is a problem?
Yeah.
Because once you are out of this, you are not returning, you are returning void. That means whatever is the function, the result value here, it is lost once you are out of this method.
Yes.
Because you have declared it locally. So local scope is lost. That is the difference between your instance variable and a local variable. Are you getting me?
Yes, sir.
So in that case, you cannot use that result. But now it is fine. I have globally declared whenever I have created an object of calculator, I can always access whatever is there in this plus any of these functions and any of this instance variable within the function, right? Therefore, even if I have not returned a value of int, I can still produce this result. Now I will say 50. Now what will happen if I run this?
Same result.
Which one will be executed as the constructor?
Sir, I think it will be 100.
No. First of all, tell me whether this will be executed or this will be executed.
Second,
Next one, because I am calling intentionally the parameterized constructor. I can do that. That is I'm overloading the constructor. Overloading. This is called function overloading. Or the constructor, because constructor is also a function. Anyway, better to say constructor overloading. Now I'm giving 50 to num1 and 50 to num2. So I will print the second constructor with num1, num2 value as 50 and 50, right? No confusion regarding
Yes,
this.
sir. No, sir.
What will happen to perform?
Sir, it will again show 30.
Again show
30.
30. Let's see.
Because 50 was there and we are again putting.
Yeah, because again you have initialized this.
Yes.
20 and 10 and 20. So it will be initialized here again because you are, the compiler is coming from top to down.
Yes.
That doesn't mean if you put this one below the main. No. What I'm saying, if you put those calculator class and everything, the class calculator, will it change the value? Let's see. These are the concepts. I have put the main method on the top. I can do that.
Yes.
I have put in this in the bottom. I can do that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Will it affect the result?
No, sir.
Let's see. No. The result of addition function is still 30. Why? Because it depends
Java
on the sequence
call
of
the main function always.
Yeah. No, this will call the main function, but the sequence of events happening inside the main function is the point of interest.
Yes, sir.
You have created the calculator object first and you have initialized the value of num1, num2, 50. But after that, what happened? You have still changed this value. So whether you place it below or top doesn't matter. It matters is this block.
But if we just write calc.num1 and calc.num2.
Okay, you can say, sorry, what are you saying?
Just remove the initialized 10 and 20 from the calc.num1 and calc.num2. Then it will return 50, 100.
I will do it what? I will take it down.
No, not this. The object calc.num1 equals to 10. So I am
or if I take it this way, better to if I can place it above this.
Yes.
Will it work?
Yes. Yeah. Now it will return. Now it will return 100.
So I am not. I have created an object, but immediately after creating the object without initializing the numbers, I have created I will call the perform function. So perform function will now have. I will go to this. Sorry, I was going on top. So this will go here, and it will change whatever num. So 50, 50. So now the value should change to this thing.
100.
Are you getting me? This is important. This block is important.
Yes.
This block is important. What is the sequence? What is doing? Who is doing what after which? So I think I don't need to explain it again.
No, sir.
It is well understood. Let me always take the main function, class always towards the end. You do interfaces, you do abstract classes, whatever you do it in the beginning. Because the natural tendency of any person is to start from the left, end towards the right while reading, and also to start from the beginning. Do you start reading from the end?
No, sir.
No. So if you start reading from the end, you will see the first thing object you are trying to understand is this thing. But without understanding what are the interfaces, what are the classes, what are the methods, and all those stuff, you will not be able to understand the entire body of it. So the natural tendency is read from the beginning, go towards the bottom, read from the left, and go towards right.
Yes, sir.
This is general convention. That's the convention that we follow. Okay, we run it again and we see that, oh, our class is over. Right. It's already one. Sorry, guys. So I will just make a mark that what we have done up to constructor and this we have done, and method and constructor overloading we have done, right? So at least we have fulfilled our target today.
Yes, sir. Sir, where send the assignment, sir?
Uh-huh.
You give me the assignment. Can we write the code and where send the code, sir?
Okay. You want me to send the assignment? What was the assignment? I have given that
Yeah.
on the chat box. If you can see,
Okay,
I
sir.
have given that.
Where to
Are you able to see the chat box?
Where to submit?
Yes. No, sir.
Shall I give
Where
it
is
once
to
more?
the sub? No, sir.
Shall I give it once more?
No, sir. Question is where to submit the assignment.
Oh, where to submit?
Yes.
What I see, whoever wants to display the logic,
Yes,
you
sir.
will take the share of the screen. You will share your screen. Next class,
Yes,
whenever
sir.
we start, we will
Yes,
start
sir.
with sharing of your screen.
Okay, sir.
Say, let's say Shishendu wants to display his logic. So Shishendu will take over from me, and
Yes.
I will stop the sharing. So right now, Anish, can you stop the recording?